So through consultations, and our youngest member is here. She's sitting right there in her mommy's lap. I remember when we were having consultations at the church up in Chudley. She was there and she was there with her mommy. So it's so awesome to see her from consultation stage to now come through Farmer Free School, and here she is in the lessons learned as well. So we had consultations across the island with female and youth and men farmers to get a sense of what it is that is happening in the market systems where herbs and spices, which includes hot pepper, is concerned. And coming out of those consultations, these one-on-one focus type groups, we then hosted a national consultation. At this national, I would like to call it a dialogue, because consultation is kind of like a one-dimensional kind of thing. So we call ours national dialogue, where the farmers themselves get to present to the different market actors what are some of the main challenges and issues that are being faced in the hot pepper market system, for example. But they don't just stop at challenges and issues. They actually put forward their own suggestions for solutions. And then out of that process, there is a discussion now that ensues with the varying market actors. Having heard now from the women challenges and potential solutions, how can we work together to create or facilitate these solutions coming to life to support the women and youth farmers? And so we had that for the herbs and spices basket, which includes hot peppers. And out of that, we developed a matrix. Now that matrix, and you have a copy of it in your package, it kind of summarizes, using the information that was garnered through the consultative process, it summarizes 6 thematic areas where challenges were being faced, and was kind of like a roadmap to how it is that collectively the market system could work to meet the needs. So there were some key areas that were highlighted by the women and youth. So things such as access to clean, good quality planting material. So from time to time they want to plant your hot peppers but couldn't get seedlings, or if they got seedlings, if they got seeds they didn't germinate, and if they got seedlings they didn't hold up in the field. So getting access to good quality material, and then inputs that they could use to manage nutrition, pest and disease management that was cost effective but effective. So they could afford to purchase it, but and at the same time, because it was affordable, didn't mean it was not as effective in helping them to achieve that kind of improved production or productivity. And so coming out of that, that is how this pilot was born. And of course, if we're doing any kind of intervention that includes farmer training and development, it's impossible to do it without the government's extension arm, which is the Rural Agricultural Development Authority. So with the support of RADA, using the criteria of the project in terms of what kind of women, youth, and men are we seeking to work with, the RADA team, as Mr. Robinson would have alluded to, would have come together and knowing the land, the lay of the land, they would have helped to select the women and youth and men who would participate in this initiative. And then we had discussions with Caribbean Chemicals, who is one of the leaders in the provision of inputs and market products to support the production and training as well, because their personnel are also field specialists, so they can provide training. And so it became a partnership where the women, the youth, and the men identified these challenges: access to clean planting materials, access to good quality but cost-effective products that they could use to stave off disease and manage their nutrition. And of course, because the project is grounded in climate resilience, whatever approaches were being used had to be climate resilient and responsive, so that regardless of what the weather or the climate is doing, these farmers will always be able to continue to produce and to grow and to become more viable in their livelihood. So that is kind of like the summary of how this initiative came into being. So out of that, we developed the partnership with Caribbean Chemicals. RADA helped us to select the farmers, and then we have an engagement session where we came and we got to know each other a lot. And then out of that, they had farmer field schools which were held at critical junctures in the productive life cycle of the peppers. So they were taught how to prepare the land first, and then how to do the transplanting. And I think I'm talking about everything. I'm going to stop and allow the group to discuss. But just to lay the foundation, so you get an understanding of the organic methodology that we use to try to develop these pilots. So it's never a top-down, it is always hearing from our stakeholders and allowing them to point us in the right direction. And then we simply facilitate bringing the right parties together with the right products, with the right partners to ensure that we can have that success.
That's
Here
excellent.
you
Can
have
I
it.
ask a couple of quick questions?
A synopsis of what
one
is
is,
taking place at this time.
I had the impression that this would be
Meeting with
organic
our women
agriculture,
of the
but
hot
since there are
pepper
chemical
farm.
inputs, I guess it's not classified organic. Is that
Not
correct?
this one. So we are doing
Country
something
director,
similar with an
Ms. Nelson,
organic provider,
just spoke.
but that one is
Elsewhere,
ongoing now,
elsewhere.
elsewhere,
Okay.
yes.
But notwithstanding that, doing us, some of the inputs that we would have supplied are organic in nature.
Okay.
And
So the biostimulants themselves are geared
They're
towards.
naturally derived.
Exactly, yeah,
Naturally
seaweed
derived.
extracts.
And if I may add quickly, the focus of the project is on sustainable agriculture, which can be, but is not necessarily organic agriculture.
Yeah, got it. Okay. The second question I had was climate resilient agriculture, and I was wanting to know one or two different practices that are different from regular agricultural practices that have been introduced into this project.
I
And
think now is the best time for our experts to
Maybe-
share how it is that they're
maybe that's a
doing
good segue for them
Yes.
to talk.
climate
Yes,
resilient
correct,
practices
correct.
on their farms.
Alright, so for me, I do planting business.
Tell us your name.
I'm Katie.
Hi, Katie.
On my farm, I don't have much water, so planting system for me, that's what I use to accumulate the moisture that I need for my plants. Yes, so I plant them a little bit closer than norm, and I have the row, yes, and I plant them closer than norm in the summer, right? Because if they are wide apart, and I don't want to do then
They dry up.
so I use the planting system.
That retains moisture.
Yes, retain moisture.
Anybody else wants to share what they do? So when you don't have enough water, those kind of things, what do you do on your farm?
Oh, good morning. I'm Okita Thompson. Not for the hot peppers currently, but I normally plant under the plastic mulch in order to retain moisture and to eliminate weed. So going forward with my hot pepper program, I'll be investing in more plastic mulch under the drip, so it will eventually over time cost me less in terms of weeding and to retain moisture in the soil.
Thank you.
Anybody else wants to share? I see you want to say something. Say something.
Well, as for me, I'm Enid White. And as for me, it's like Okita said, it's on the drip plastic as well. And I mean, we're having problem with water, but I have 2,000 gallons of drum. Well, Beryl came and
The drum down.
the shed is off,
Water
right?
harvesting.
My shed is off. And what I'm planning to do now is to get a team to come back, help me to get back the shed. I don't have any peppers leaf. Most of them is just sticks, you know. So yesterday I set around 5,000 lettuce seeds. So I'm just depending on that now to recuperate and come back.
Cash flow, yes,
Right.
Do you find that planting shorter lifetime crops is really helpful for you to manage your income based on the weather?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Is that a strategy that you deliberately use?
yes.
Okay.
Quick growing cash crop.
That's right.
Yeah.
So will you use earnings from this cash crop to get back
Yes,
into
that's what I'm planning on doing, yes.
Right.
Not in this particular area, but there's another area just down the road where one of our farmers there, she intercrops lettuce with her hot peppers. in the early stages because lettuce is like 6 weeks. So she intercrops the lettuce with her peppers. They're benefiting from the same nutrition, same water, and so she's earning money in between waiting on the pepper, which is 3 months before you start getting really good berries that you can reap to go to market.
Yeah.
Alright, so
All right.
go ahead.
So what was the experience? I want to start with you.
Overall.
The overall of the project. What went well? What needs improvement? That much.
Are you on
Well-
the bar? Okay.
You are what?
No. I was saying I could start because it seems like you want some more time.
She's ready.
Yes, sir. I just want to applaud all the donors regarding who helped initiate this project and also for we as the farm. It was an awesome project when you look at it from the initial stage. You get the theoretical part of the project. You get all the inputs, how to plant, when to plant, the distance to plant, fertilizer, seedling, and assistant in terms of farm visit. What more could you want? Even though there is a real challenge out there as farmers, because we have perennial drought conditions, so planting hot pepper out of the rainy season is kind of rough if you don't plant on drip irrigation. Regardless, if you still have the drip irrigation and you don't have water catchment, you are not going to have anything to run in the drip. So that is one of the disadvantages regarding planting hot pepper. So it could add to the next project coming up, identify the drip irrigation and water catchment system so person can constantly produce on a regular basis, because that's what the market requires, constant production. So that was one of the challenge I have in terms of planting outdoor comparing to planting on drip and have constant water. So all in all, it was a good project, and this project is currently propelling me to develop a farm to constantly plant hot pepper, like have about 5 to 6 acres of hot pepper. I'm now currently drafting up a business plan to build a water catchment system and a big tank. So I'm going to use solar energy to power the pump to drip the entire area that I'm going to plant. So because of this project, I'm now seriously looking in that area to expand my production in terms of Scotch bonnet pepper, because there's a high available market out there and the price is right and the price is high. I just love hot pepper. I just can't emphasize the importance of planting hot pepper. You know, hot pepper, once you start picking it and you treat it right, you will always be picking during the duration of the crop life. And it stands up well to the weather, and you have a longer duration of picking time. So you can plant the hot pepper now and you're constantly picking. Next year you still have the crop. Along with the chemical that we use from Caribbean Chemical, there are some good products. And I applaud Mr. Parker. Also, Mr. Miller, you can always call him for advice, you know? So, big up again on behalf of the farmer and myself.
So my question to you, you got 500 seedling from us,
Yes.
right? Have you extended the cultivation in terms of pepper since then? And if so, how many different crops you have in different stages?
Yes, I have extended. I have planted 1,000 additional, and I have ordered 1,000 more from Mr. Donaldson.
Who is that?
Mr. Donaldson, Mr. Robinson. I don't. When I'm going to get it, Mr. Robinson.
Sweet.
Okay.
But I have to plant it in my
Yes. So I'm trying to expand my acreage constantly.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to reap in that vein, same.
Alright, so you have a consistent supply to the market.
Yes.
Alright.
So I have a question, and again, from the perspective of the climate resilience, you said you're thinking of getting into 5 to 6 acres. I think I know the answer, but I don't want to make assumptions. I want to hear from you.
Yes.
How do you plan to plant the 5 to 6 acres? Is it all going to be planted at once? And if not, why are you going to be doing it the way you're choosing to do it? I just want to understand how you're thinking about the issue of resilience.
Yes, I'm going to stagger them. I'm not going to plant all at once because I don't want, based on the market, I always want to stagger because in terms of labor costs, when you set off the first crop, it allows you to, in terms of finance, to push the other crop and also the market. So if you stagger them, you might have various price, but if you plant at once, you might have the price at once, but if you stagger them, you might catch a high price or higher price or low price. So I always want to stagger. I don't want everything to come in one time and there's a glut in the market.
Where did you get your PhD in resilience, man? Where did you get your PhD in climate resilience?
From the professor.
From the professor. Okay.
Alright. Well, I think last week we had a discussion that you have already, you select a area which you're going to build a pond. So the pond is going to be support to the tank that you plan to build. I actually have the material that you got from Rada to construct that pond.
Underground.
Underground.
Just to implement it.
Alright, because you'll be using some of the 1,000-gallon black drums.
Yes.
Like that.
So hopefully in a few months or year. Well, no, the tank is more of a long-term investment,
Yeah.
but the pond is more of a short, medium-term goal. So I'll be working on that. So next one visit, you'll see a difference.
So one other question I have. From the SAC project, we would like to see the carbon chemicals, for example, fingerprint on every pound of pepper produced in this area. Can you think of farmers here who are not participating in the professor's program? Are there any farmers?
Most definitely, there's a lot of farmers out there. But what I do in a person always call me what they should use and spray this, so I always recommend them to Caribbean Chemicals.
Okay. So you feel like most of the farmers now are coming to carbon chemicals for?
But it would naturally be that way because what you see is a consistency in terms of the harvest and the return on investment. And that drives the mind in terms of what are you doing versus what I'm not doing. Because when you compare on a scale, for example, 500 plants and you're getting 300 pounds weekly consistently, and a farmer parks with more plants saying, I'm not even half of where you are, what's happening on your space? You know, that's where the lines draw and people start to ask questions from the other members in the group. You know, what's happening on your space? What do I need to be doing? And then that spins off in terms of even the phone calls I receive and the visit that I carry out to say, have you not seen what Kadeen and these other farmers are, you know, what's going on?
Perfect. I'm glad to hear that because one of the rationale for the pilot is not that we must personally, the SAC project, meet every farmer. But if those that are part of our project are successful and other farmers copy them, and that is successful. So some have piloted and adopted, and others are adapting.
Yes.
So the fact of the matter, if all of them are now coming to you to use this technology, we're happy to hear that.
Have you any examples, Dane, of perhaps other farmers who, or even larger farmers who would have heard about this, seen what's happening, and I know we developed a program together. Outside of that program that we developed together, do you know if it's being used by any other farmers who would not have been a part of the initial?
That's what I said, the man in Cove.
Okay.
That's how far it has reached.
Good.
With 15 acres.
Who's using this?
The very template that we copied and shared and handed out. That's the one he said specifically, I need this. We have farmers in Indian Town from the group in Indiantown, and it's in Bargold, it's in Jamesville, it's in Kellis. So it's just replicating itself on a natural means. And persons are directly seeking to say, listen, I want the source of the seedlings, and I want the footprint in terms of exactly what they would have done.
Good. So
And,
the market.
and not just that, I've been asked, were the sessions recorded? I want to go sit down and watch it myself and see what it, and even for the, one farmer asked, I took notes, I did notes on the board behind you. And one farmer said, my phone got stolen, and I believe that the most important thing to get back are the pictures from the sessions, because I can always get the contacts, but I can't get that anywhere.
So Professor, my next question for you is, how is your competition responding to this?
Well, we are the market leaders.
But are they knocking at the door, trying to compete, say, hey, we have to compete with carbon chemicals now?
Yes, they have, because one of the fertilizer blends that we have, the major fertilizer company in Jamaica now has literally gone to the extent of trying to copy it, but the technology cannot be replicated like that.
They're distributing now.
They're distributing something similar.
Yes.
With a view that it could, capture that space, but they can't.
But you're doing enough for people to take notice and to try to enter.
Yeah.
All right, one of our other hand, go ahead.
I've been to the farm store. Go to a particular farm store because of the experience, and the person there is always asking me, why are you always buying this particular brand? And I say, I buy what I know.
You know, works.
Right.
Alright, so I have a little feedback here. From day one, we started the training right here. Some of you can allude to the fact that we have persons just walking off the street from day one, saying, oh, you leave me out, and I can remember the day when the peppers came. And I was showing across there. Just the attractive, the beauty of the feelings. People start to say, oh, Mr. Miller, Mr. Carty, we need to be on board. And as the extension personnel, I can say, yes, since the farmers managing their fields, the attitude towards training, it's a different execution, from the traditional ways of planting and managing their crops. And farmers in and around the Mile Valley area, I can allude to the fact that they are copying already, and they are interested in following these farmers' footsteps. And yes, we promote that.
Even another scenario in Indiantown, we would have had to change the location of the session. We
are hearing the feedback of our farmers on our hot pepper project at this time, and also the stakeholders who are involved. We have Mr. Parker now speaking with us
because we knew we catered for 20
and how the product that they sell is being promoted.
What's happening here? How is it that they didn't contact me? How do I get on? And how can I now join and to be a part of what is happening? Persons wanting to replicate what they're seeing in terms of the successes on the ground.
So in this region, it's mainly root and tuber crops. Maybe 80% of our farmers are dedicated in this region to that. But over time, with climate change, growing marketing potential for vegetables, lots of our farmers will plant a root crop, which is 3 months for like carrot and sweet potato, and they will plant 3-4 crops consecutively and don't get a high price, they don't get high yields. So I'm telling you, sometime for a year or two, some of these farmers don't even break even. And I try to promote the fact that if you go into a crop that can give you money every week, some of our farmers are part-time farmers. I said my part-time farmers must not go into their salary as a teacher, as a nurse, to send their children to school. Do hot peppers, do other vegetable crops that you can reap on a weekly basis, and you can feed your family. A lot of these farmers, what happens is that because they're into the 3-month and 9-month crops, they will get $3 million now, and they don't get another 500,000 in the next 6, 8, even 1 year. You understand? So they gone back to square one. They bank up with loans, children can't go to school, all these crises. But hey, when you have a plot of Scotch bonnet pepper and you can turn over $50,000, $100,000 per week or per month, trust me, you don't even have to go to your salary. I want to give you a testimony that there's a guidance counselor at a primary school in Manchester here, not my body here. And for years, I've been running nursery, right? And I realized that she's always been calling ahead of time, or like ahead of the rainy season or the most popular planting season, which is like July to September. She's always saying, Mr. Miller, I need my seedlings, please don't leave me out. And we became friends, and I said, you know why you're always dedicated? And she said to me, Mr. Miller, on my 9 to 5, when I pay all my bills, have our children a child at university, some in high school, she have about 4 children. She said, listen me, when I take out all the loans and do everything for my family, pay for my motor vehicle, I have $5,000 leave every month. Listen me, it is the Scotch bonnet pepper, put the fuel in the vehicle and bring me to school and put dinner on the table. You understand? So that's great fish. That person will teach all of her life, but you will make sure that you always have Scotch bonnet pepper. So that is a great testimony. And so in this region, we are trying to get them to be diversified. Do cauliflower, do broccoli, do cabbage, go to greenhouse, do shade house, do the plastic mulch. I had to beat Mr. Thompson because I want to let you know that he's a youth prime minister awardee for youth in agriculture. I think 2019. And guess what? He's known as a cattle farmer. And I came in the village one day and I saw him with a van load of pumpkin. And when I went back to the office, I said, listen to me, the man is not only a livestock farmer, the man do crops. Not even Mr. Carty, if you believe me. And I said, yes, he balanced. And I keep on saying, Okito, I want to take you from 4-H to be a champion farmer. So you dominated the small league, you have to come into the big league now and go beside the Mr. Morris. So, no, I kept on pushing even before this project to say, hey, you do a lot of sweet potato, Irish potato, they all can go on because you lose urine. So I'm proud to hear him saying that this morning, this is the next step he wants to go. Understand?
Thank you, Mr. Miller. At this point, if it was a church service, I do that testimony, I would cut it off. Right here. Come on,
Alright, so I want you to share with us now what some of the other ladies, how are you? Alright, some of the other ladies now to share with us how were the farmer field school session, the learning by doing, how was that part of it? How did you know, assimilate information that your professor and the others, how was it being on the farm, doing the things, learning and then going back to your own farm? Share with us a little bit about the farmer field school experience and the methodology that they use to impart the information.
Yeah, we come in. No, keep the ball around. Yes, ma'am.
Alright, so I'm for that. I want to say thanks to us and their team for sponsoring this program and for helping us farmers to highlight ourselves in a different platform. As for me, I used to plant just sweet potato, Irish, and sweet peppers. Yes, and one day, Mr. Carty always said to me, you need to plant some hot peppers. And I said, no, I don't want to plant no hot peppers. That's not me. And he keep on bugging me about the hot peppers. So when the meeting actually come up, he invited 2 of us to the meeting. And unfortunately, I couldn't come actually. So, he said, Katie, I still want you to do the hot pepper training. Come to Kingston at the next meeting. And I said, all right, I'll be there. So from then I started to come to the meeting. So, I get the hot peppers, thanks to you guys, and I plant them, and I started reaping. I see what he was saying to me is, every week you can have money for the child to go to school. So I said yes. So I started picking peppers, and I realized that children are going to school, my bills are paying, and I'm a little bit more upkeep than how I used to be. So I started another set apart from that 500 that you gave me. So I have a little, roughly another 500 at another section of the field. And each time I sell, I buy at least 2 to 3 trays of peppers. And out of the peppers that I've received from the group, I'm looking at 2,000 peppers plus baby seedlings plus babies that are ready to plant out now. Yes, so I still plant my Irish and I still do my sweet potatoes, but now I'm looking at hot pepper as my main source of income at the moment. And with Mr. Parker advice, you have to send the message directly to the plant or you want them to.
So is it also your steady source of income or just the main source of income?
Alright, so farming is my main source of income. Yes.
But your hot peppers.
But the hot pepper now is the steady.
Steady,
It's
okay,
more
that's-
steady,
okay.
yes.
Besides the hot peppers, what else are you planting?
I do Irish sweet potatoes, carrots, and sweet peppers.
So the potatoes are long, 5 weeks, 6 weeks? No, they're
I
longer,
suppose,
longer gestation.
Yes, 12 weeks.
12 weeks, okay. Not as frequent.
Just curious by a show of hands, how many persons out of the initial 500, how many persons have actually expanded and have more than the 500 that you started with?
Alright, just to have the information that you gather during the FFS training sessions. How that effort to develop a farm, or in other words, how you apply what you learn.
Alright, so I apply what I learned because the training session, come to the training, I went out there because I didn't know anything about planting hot peppers. So when Mr. Parker came and said, this is what you're supposed to do, that is what I will do.
Yeah.
So if you say, spray this on the plant this week, that's what I did. The condition of the water, the spray program.
What that mean?
Acidic water.
Yeah, go on, I get that.
Yeah, so from acidic the water is to how to mix your chemicals and how to fertilize. So I utilize this spray program to the hot pepper program. And I also use his program as well on my Irish program and yield tremendously. Yes.
So the extension and production support extends beyond just hot peppers now, right? So you're forming relationships for other peppers, right?
And if I may add, the beauty about the CropCare program is that it was well thought out based on the biology of the plant. But here's the thing too, the products in the tech pack kit that was supplied through Woos and Carbon Chemicals can be integrated everywhere. So if it's cannabis or you're growing ornamentals or you're doing potatoes or whatever, Irish or sweet, or if you're growing turmeric or ginger or yam, it can be applied right across the board. So it's not just a single-use item that is just best fit for peppers and that's it. It's done.
So Prof, question for you and Mr. Miller. Do you find that the partnership between RADA and Carbon Chemicals is helping you to reach far more farmers and it's making it easier to coordinate with farmers? Because private sector and government now, how is that working out?
Well, from my end, it's definitely a plus. It's the recommended approach from our top level management all the way through. If we're not linking with the stakeholders, then what are we doing? I mean, RADA has the network, we have the technology and the capacity. Why not bring the two together to make it a win-win scenario? And that win is at every level. Meaning, the farm stores benefit from the farmers coming to purchase. But if the business is not repeatable, then you don't have a success. I mean, nobody kills the customer, that's what I always say. I mean, you check the party store, everybody go buy a party every day. Similarly, at Carbon Chemicals, what we're intending to do is to have a win for the farmer, for the store, for the community. And so what we drive is economics at every level. So the farmer has that cash flow that can now go to market, to send the child to school, to go back to the farm, to build the house, and then to go back to farm also, and also build a net worth in terms of saving. So should some eventuality show up in life, I mean it does. I've had farmers said, look, out of what you've taught us, we start a little insurance policy, a little nest egg. So just in case.
So this is probably my last question. We've heard all these lovely stories so far. What is not working? If you were to change something, what would you change?
Access to water.
Okay. And in terms of the partnership between...
Alright, so it's not every farmer is around the partnership that is going on with the time. Yeah, so I don't know how to get my own personal stuff at night and what to do. So with the help of RADA, they do assist us with containers such as tank and the plastic liners to assist individual farmers. Because I can say I get a black tank from RADA. Yes. And irrigation boots, yes.
All right, probably rest of the farmers. Just tell me one thing that is a takeaway from the project. One thing in terms of benefitariety, whether it's the training, yes.
The whole idea of coming together to train us so that we can learn. And even if we don't have the resources that on hand, we have the knowledge in our heads so that we can take away with it, and when we start to work or do our part, we can also implement what we would have learned. And that is a takeaway for me, because for me the struggle is real. I have not really reached where I heard others are because of financial challenges and other material challenges. However, as I listened carefully, I said to myself, I am going to get there one day and beyond. And as soon as things get better, I will hit the road again. I got assistance with some peppers, but as soon as I started to reap, here comes burial. And everything goes AWY. And as a result of that, I have lost all those peppers. They were on the tree, ready to pick in short order. And, everything just went away. And now they are coming up, but they are not looking as beautiful as should. As one sister said, they are sticks. But however, I am not disturbed, I'm not perturbed, I'm not discouraged, because I intend to get back some seedlings and start with.
Your aspiration is right here. Yes.
For me, I am glad that you got the guide, because I would just for me, anybody know me know I cannot count.
That means it takes a guessing game over what to do.
Right, it takes a guessing game. So like the night before, the day before, I would go down, start with my calculator, and I work it out, and I put it in my phone back, because I know I said tomorrow, I make sure I get the measuring spoons and everything, and I do the correct calculations.
You're not gambling more.
Right. No. And the thing is, when the chemicals and the different products are applied as per the instructions, it results in savings because there's no wastage, there's no overuse. And so your product lasts you longer. Go ahead.
Another thing, I remember it took so long for me to realize I was using 45 Sora. Like, the liter 45, I've used it like 3 times. And me, I said, why? So then I sit down and me, I said, this is why, because literally, me, I said, why? Numbers are not the best thing for me. I cannot count to more than 40.
That's okay.
Yes, but after I realized, and I went back and I did the calculations over, the 45 out. Yes, I figured it out.
Okay, sir. I want to say thank you again to Caribbean Chemicals and Rose and to Miss Katie. She was the one who called me and asked me if I was interested, and I told her yes, I was interested. But throughout the whole process, I was going fine before burial. I would call her and she would tell me what to do and support. And after this time, it was looking like somebody walked through with hot water and burned them up. But after that, she told me what to spray them with, and they transform. Some of them transform and look better than some. So I have not got that great yield yet, but at times I would pick like £110 and so forth. But since the price got up, even if I pick that small portion, we make more money than before. So yeah, with the help of her, yeah, we know we will make some more money in the future.
And I share that with you.
Yeah, because yes, I'm going to say, when name here, everyone miss him, see me here?
So the networking is very important.
Yeah, because I said, come here, man, come here, tell me what happened to me. And you say, all right, do this, do that, yeah. And we can't do that. Come, I want you to tell me what to do today. And what she again want, well, if I blank list, he said, well, and you have to write it down and tell me. Yeah, so those are the things that keep me going to try again. Because you get 300 from rather different from the set that we get from you. I haven't purchased any. Yes, but yeah.
And you mentioned that Rada gave us additional 2,000 seedlings that we distribute, which was another good thing from Rada.
Yeah. So.
Wow. I want to say thanks.
Your name again?
Sylvia.
Sylvia?
Sylvia.
Your full name?
Rose.
Rose. Oh, because I'm still looking for Renee.
Renee, dear.
Oh, alright. Come on, Renee.
Yes, I.
Wednesday. I will go to the kitchen and make coffee. And then we'll get to back over with us here, alright?
Okay, you called me and tell me, sir, but we never did hear.
Yeah, you were here.
Yeah, trying to go back to school.
Yeah.
Alright.
As I was saying, thanks to you guys. You started me out pretty fine with the seedlings that you received. Eventually, I lost probably 80% of it because what happened, the fall manure that I used, it was too strong. So, and it was a dry period, and I didn't have water on it. So I realized I started losing it. Anyway, beyond that, I received back some from Rada, which I planted, and then I bought 2 sets of pine tree at 600 from Mr. Roberts. So thereon, I went on as I'm doing fine. I lost a lot during burial storm. But I'm recovering because I look pretty good. Just in the process of cleaning up just the same. But they're looking pretty good. I've not read what the others might post in the group and said I've read such and such. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Right.
And just to inform you, within the project for the 5 countries, we have a photo competition. And the photograph that I took of you with the kids in that sweet pepper is going to be the first prize.
It's not campaigning season now.
And I have it right here though. See here? I have it right on top of the phone. You're receiving the seat.
By the way, I must say, he has won the most photo competitions.
See there?
Mr. Rob enters your mental.
All right, very good.